How's it going, everyone? It's Sam. Things are getting worse out there. The market is collapsing, actually, in the pre-market. We're actually seeing something fascinating happening behind the scenes. People are being forced to sell at record low prices, at insane discounts. They're being forced out of their positions. And it got worse today. Let's talk about that. I want to show you what's happening in the market, how you can think about this. Is now the time to sell? Should you be selling or should you be buying? Should you be holding? What should we make out of this market? I will be rocking back and forth a little bit because the Bitcoin baby woke up a little bit early today. So yeah, he's sitting with me and you might hear a little something from him. He is a loud breather. So yeah, we'll get past this stage and we'll get back to the normal office. But I woke up with him early, and honestly, I was okay to do so because I saw the market falling down before we opened. And yeah, I have some crazy stuff to show you. Before we get into it, if you don't mind, hit subscribe. We will talk about leverage trading later. If you do want to trade on leverage, there are links underneath the video to BTCC, to Blowfin, to BitUniX, and to WEEX. Check them out underneath the video, and let's get started. As we can see here, the market is falling down. I posted this last night. Does this make you depressed or excited, right? When you see the market down 5-10%, are you excited or depressed? Well, it probably depends a little bit on your cash position. Probably depends a little bit on if you've been buying heavily recently. Probably depends on your outlook too. We need to have a long-term outlook because otherwise you might get a little bit sad when you see these kinds of discounts. The stock market is collapsing. I mean, we just were down 6% on the NASDAQ on Friday. And what do you know? It's down another 3.6% today. And it was down even more earlier in the pre-market. We have good companies, really, really good companies. They're down significantly. This is kind of like my watch list here. But you can see Alphabet down at 144. I mean, this is trading for a 17 priced earnings, like previous priced earnings. We have Microsoft. It was just at 347 a few minutes ago. We have Amazon, 168. Again, it was just at 164. We've even seen a bit of a bounce over the last couple minutes. Meta down at 494. These are insanely profitable companies. They're selling off like they're meme stocks. Like they're meme cryptos. Why is this all happening? Why is it all happening? Well, it's not even because of tariffs anymore. I'll be honest with you, it's not. What we're seeing now is we're seeing forced selling. We're seeing hedge funds get liquidated, get margin called. Bitcoin and crypto, same thing. We're seeing 1.4 billion liquidated from the market in the last 24 hours. Okay, the global stock market is collapsing. Hong Kong down 14%, Taiwan down 9.6%, Japan down 9.5%, Italy 8.4%, Singapore 8%, Sweden 7%, China 7%. Like you can just see, it's not just the US, it's every country in the world getting smashed. French banks shares are halted at the opening. Like, yeah, banks are collapsing as well. Stimulus incoming after China's stock market suffers the worst day crash since 2008. Again, 7%. Now, this is a little bit tongue-in-cheek, maybe, the stimulus incoming, but maybe not. I mean, we've seen them continuously make announcements about more stimulus over the last 8 months or so. Thailand stocks exchange temporarily bans short selling. Jim Cramer has said, now is not the time to panic. Okay. Yeah, the Japan's Topix banking index went down 14.7%. Taiwan, circuit breakers triggered. These are crazy times. We have JP Morgan Asset Management's Bob Michel saying that the Federal Reserve will have to cut interest rates before the next meeting in May. And then we have President Trump saying that he will not make a deal. He will not make a deal with China unless it solves the trade deficit. Hold on. Okay, there we go. We have Bitcoin falling down to 74,500. Now rebounding. It is rebounding up to 77, but setting a new lower low. Going back down to the key resistance level that we saw, we got rejected by it twice before we broke out. So we're seeing absolute carnage, right? We're seeing stocks, like I said, high quality tech companies going down 4% in the pre-market. And it's indiscriminate. It doesn't matter if you're in a dividend play. It doesn't matter if you're in oil. It doesn't matter if you're in tech. Of course, some are getting a hit worse than others, but everything is selling off. And like we said yesterday, a large reason for this is we're seeing hedge funds get margin called. We're seeing them, a hedge fund that had $1 billion under management that took out $2 billion in debt, and they're getting margin called. There's too much risk. There's too much uncertainty, right? So they're being forced to sell. Same thing with liquidations. This happens within crypto, where people get too leveraged. This is why I constantly talk about 2, 3, 4x leverage, right? And adding margin if you need to. But if you went on 3x leverage back at 90,000, you're still not even close to liquidated. You're like down 50%. Now down less than that, down like 40%. And you can ride out this storm, right? So at times like this, if you need your cash in the next month, I said this yesterday, but if you need your cash in the next month or two, like don't invest into this, because we can see more turbulence. We can see more forced liquidations. But if you're someone that has a long-term outlook that doesn't need this cash soon, this is one of the best opportunities when people are forced to sell regardless of price. I go back to the example I gave yesterday. Wouldn't you like to go back to 2008 when people were being forced to sell their properties at fire sales? Wouldn't you like to go back then? Isn't that what everyone's dreamed about? Right? Like, that is an opportunity of a lifetime. This may be the opportunity of a lifetime. Could we fall further? Yeah, we could. We could fall down another 20%, 30%. Like, there's no telling where we can go. But if you have a long-term outlook, it's probably a great time to be buying. Again, you don't know when the bottom is. No one knows when the bottom is. Sometimes the bottom gets priced in before the good news starts, honestly. Like, there are rumors of a federal rate cut, emergency rate cut. I'm not so sure because we're seeing stocks fall down in price, but I still don't think we're seeing quite the carnage that we've seen in the past of 2020, where I was looking at REITs back then, and you could see REITs down 30, 40% like in a day. And yeah, I don't think we're quite there. I think we're close. But a lot of this is tariff based, and I don't think that is the same emergency that we saw from COVID, where there's just a global shutdown of the economy. So it will be interesting to watch. I don't think we're quite at like those COVID fire sale prices, but we are getting close. I think we're pretty much at parity with the 2022 lows now. Again, you look at Google, it's down 30, 35%. Amazon, same thing. Like, these are fantastic companies that everyone is. Amazon, Alexa, stop. What the heck? The fact is, these are companies that everyone wanted to own a couple months ago. And now people are going risk off, being forced to sell some of the biggest names at the biggest discounts. These are the best companies around, the best companies in the world that will be here for 100 years. But let me know your thoughts. Obviously, Bitcoin can fall further. Again, I like low leverage long positions here because, yes, we could go into a bear market. That is the risk, right? We could. But I'd say there's still over a 50% chance that we have a strong rebound. We have a great rest of the year. Now, again, maybe that happens in a couple weeks. Maybe that happens in a couple months. Maybe it's the end of the year. Maybe we have to go through a lot. But there's a huge outsized risk return, especially if you can do 2 or 3x leverage, and you can do that a couple times, whether you have stop losses or you just double down, right? Like, you leverage more as we go further down. I don't think this is the end of the world, right? This is a tariff negotiation. People will put their money back into the market when there's a little bit more certainty, and that can happen at any moment. So going 3x leverage, 2x leverage, riding it down, riding the wave, coming back up, hitting new all-time highs, hitting 150, 175,000. That could be life-changing. But of course, that is risky. So maybe you just want to add to spot bags. I am buying today. Like, I'm just trying to decide if I want to buy in the pre-market or wait for the market to open. Honestly, there might be more carnage when the market opens. Of course, there are two different scenarios. It could be bought up right away, people buying the dip because we're seeing such big discounts, or we could be getting margin calls and people are getting back to their trading desks on Monday morning and they're figuring out what they have to sell to make up for this margin call. Now, let me know your thoughts underneath the video. Let me know if you're buying anything today. I am, like I said, I'm buying the big tech names hand over fist. I'm also buying VOO just because you can't lose with VOO, and on a big correction like this, it looks juicy. But let me know your thoughts. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. I'll see you all in the next one. Bye.